Let me ask you something. What if the issues that we have been avoiding are the very places that God wants to walk through? What if his arrival doesn't come in the places we have polished, but in the places that we have buried? I guess that's exactly what the prophet Isaiah meant when he said, "Clear the way through the wilderness for the Lord. Make a straight highway through the wasteland for our God." In those words, he is calling us to not only just clear a path, but to do so right there in the wilderness, in the barren places, in the places we stay silent about, in the spaces we have been trained to not enter because they are too dark, too controversial, or too painful to touch. But Isaiah's words didn't say to avoid those places. In fact, he says to rip the lid off of them, clear the path, make it known, because the God we serve wants to walk straight through the middle of the mess and call it his. The things that buried you, he wants to expose them. The fears or groups that you bow down to, he wants to tear them down. Why? So that his glory can be revealed in the very place you were silenced. So what does this mean practically? Speaking plainly, this means he wants to talk about issues that we want to ignore. Issues like abuse, how families abuse children and call it culture, how churches protect the abuser and cast out the victim, and how you stood there for all of it, oblivious, numb, or maybe both. Now, I know that some of you were taught that God's brand of love is about staying quiet, that God just wants you to forgive and forget, that he sees you suffering and he whispers to you, saying to be still, be silent, stay sweet. But that is not the complete picture of our Father. That is not the whole story of who he is. It roars, it flips tables, it shows up at graves and calls dead things to life. It doesn't protect your comfort, it protects your calling. It doesn't coddle your silence, it confronts it. That is the fire that these letters were born from. They are for the mothers, the daughters, the sons, and the sisters, the ones who were told to keep smiling while quietly dying inside, the ones trapped in families that are really cults of control, and for the protectors who failed, and the survivors who must now rise. I pray these letters won't leave you where they found you. I hope they sting, and I hope they heal. I hope they pull something holy out of you, a divine exchange of sorts. Fear traded for power, apathy traded for fire, and silence traded for sound. Because we aren't just called to make a way through the wilderness. We are called to raise our voices, shout the truth, and to do so not being afraid. So, I will go first. This work is my cry in the wilderness, my voice in the fire, my stones rolled back. And I know that God will meet us here. But the question is, will you? Because the time has come to open our mouths where we were once told to stay silent, to stop protecting what is perverse, and to stand where others have fled, and to speak as long as it takes, as loud as it takes, even if your voice shakes.